A response to Sned. I don't know if you guys can hear my kids fighting downstairs. There's like some yelling going on downstairs. My kids are probably fighting over which, I don't know, fighting over a video game or something. But anyway, wanted to clarify a few things in my last video to Mr. Sned. Did you hear that? My wife threatening the children that they're going to lose their electronics all weekend, which is actually a good thing. I want them to lose their electronics all weekend. The only downside to them losing their electronics all weekend is the fact that they're going to be bothering me. And I don't want to be bothered. Sometimes I feel like I'd rather let the electronics take over their brains and decay their brains than them bothering me. Does that make me a bad parent? Yeah, I guess it does. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. Where was I going with this? Clarifying a few things for Sned, whatever the hell your name is. I don't want anybody to think that I don't care about the war in Ukraine. Like, yeah, I hope those people die, or no. I mean, just, I care about the war in Ukraine about as much as I care about the starving children in Africa, as much as I care about every child that's locked in a basement right now somewhere in the U.S. I care, and it breaks my heart if I actually had firsthand knowledge of any of those things, it would break my heart. And I would be compelled to do something about it. But at the same time, I'm 100% powerless to do anything about it. So it's almost the same thing as hearing news about an asteroid hurtling toward Earth. What can you do about it? Your sphere of concern needs to be in a healthy place, if your sphere of concern is too small, then you're a selfish person because you only care about the here and now and the things that matter to you. And if your sphere of concern is too big, then you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders and you're constantly just worried about everything and everyone. And I know I mentioned in another video before, but it is true. Like my cousin, God rest his soul, he didn't leave his house for years, because of the crippling fear. And I'm sure that the news media had a lot, if not everything, to do with his crippling fear. It's just to the point now where I don't know what to do, with most of these things. I mean, if you tell me to boycott Russian vodka or to do something that's going to hurt Putin, then I'll do it. Or if you tell me to, buy this product or that product when I go shopping and it's going to, help rescue children from being abducted or whatever, then I'll do it. But I just, sometimes I'm really superstitious. Like, the last thing I ever want to say is I don't care about something or somebody, because then I feel like if I do that, then, next thing you know, something will happen to me or my family, and then it'll be like, do you care now? I mean, I do care, but at the same time, like, I really don't know what I can do about a lot of these things. Therefore, the news, as informative as it can be, and sometimes it is informative, the news is rather pointless. When you're talking about stuff that's going on the other side of the world, you might as well be talking about stuff that's going on the other side of the galaxy or something, in a solar system, 78,000 light years away from us. There's these beings, these alien beings that we don't even know about, and they're suffering. Oh, you hear my son screaming down there about something? He's whining and crying about. Dude, you guys are about to hear me go off on my kids here in a second if this continues. Anyway, you want to be concerned about it. To a degree, you are concerned about it. But to another degree, you're just like, what the hell? If I can't do anything about it, what's the use of trying to do something about it? And Sned brought up a great point. Hey, it's more in my back door than it is in your back door, Shafe. And that's true, you know? Now, my guess is that if it really escalates to the point where the UK gets involved, then America won't be too far behind. I mean, if you look at every major war that the UK's been involved in, America got involved in it quickly thereafter. You know, World War I, World War II, the Iraq War. We were the ones who got everybody behind us. So, you know, yeah, do I want my kids growing up and fighting the Russians? Hell fucking no. And, you know, people don't have the same type of patriotism that, and really, they don't even have the same level of altruism that they had back in the 30s and 40s and stuff. You know, you hear about these people like, I lied about my age. I was 16 years old and I said I was 18 just so I could go over and fight the Germans. Well, like, how many 16-year-olds nowadays are you going to find who are willing to do that? Go over and storm the beaches of Normandy. War is no longer glorified the way that it was back then. And I think partially it's because of Hollywood has portrayed movies like Saving Private Ryan. I mean, they took all the glory out of it, you know, like you see these kids, basically senior in high school, freshman in college age kids, getting their legs blown off and shit, you know, and for what, you know? I mean, I hate to put it this way, but to save a bunch of strangers, you know? I don't know, man. Somebody wants to come over here and pick a fight with me in my backyard, then I already got guns and ammo sitting here waiting for them. But, you know, do I want to go halfway across the world? Do I want my kids to go halfway across the world to fight for the rights of other people who really should be defending themselves? I don't know. That probably makes me sound really selfish, but yeah, I don't know. Where do you draw the line with your concern? And if you are sincerely concerned about something, what can you do about it? You know, again, the virtue signaling. What is a virtue signaler? It's somebody who takes on the weight of the world, right? I feel so compelled to help people of color or people, whatever it is. I feel so compelled to, you know, support this community or that community, whatever it is, that I'm going to wear a rainbow flag button on my lapel. Good for fucking you. What did that do to help them? Nothing. Maybe it psychologically helps them. They see that little lapel pin and they feel, oh, you know, Mr. Jones in my school supports me. Okay. I'm going to wear a Ukraine flag button. Why? Just to show my support, okay? And the end result of that is what? The end result of that is what? If you really want to help and you're a million miles away from the problem, in all seriousness, why don't you give some money to something? Why don't you write a check? Because really, I think that would actually help. Now, I don't know what you write a check for to help the war in Ukraine, but I'm sure that you go, if you go online, you can find something where you can donate money, food, clothes, whatever. I'm sure there's millions of things, the refugees or the war effort or something. I'm actually positive of it, that you can find a way. But people don't want to do that. You're going to ask me to actually put my money where my mouth is? That's pretty rough. I would much rather spend 50 cents on a Ukraine pin or $2 on a Ukraine bumper sticker and stick that on the back of my golf cart while I'm playing 18 holes at Bushwood. That's about as far as I'm willing to do it. Like, that's just, to me, that is just the most disgusting. It has all the appearance of standing up for a cause without actually standing up for a cause. I hate it. Hate it. And really, what's the whole motivation? I mean, why do they call it virtue signaling? The whole motivation behind doing stuff like that is to make other people think you're a good person. To make other people think you're on the right side of history. That's it. You want to look like you're a good guy or a good gal. That's what you want. That's what you want. It's all about you. It's all about people's perception of you. How awful and selfish is that? That is so disgusting. And then you got Sned picking on me about saying that I don't know how to calculate probability. It's like, leave it up to Sned to try to pick apart little things that I say here and there. That's fine. Flip a coin. The probability that heads and tails will come up is exactly the same every single time you do it. However, as you mentioned, the probability that heads will come up twice in a row is a more difficult, it's a lower probability. And then you take something that is extremely improbable, like a terrorist attack or a mass shooting happening in the same exact place. And I think one thing you might be not taking into consideration is the fact that the mass shooter is very, very aware of the last place that a mass shooting happened. Say that you're some freak and you're living in your mom's basement and you got no job and no girlfriend and nothing to do except collect guns and ammo and make a hit list of people that you hate. And you decide, okay, I live in wherever. I live in Oklahoma City. And I think what I'm going to do next Saturday is I'm going to go shoot up a grocery store. And that's going to, that's going to get me famous. My name's going to be in the news and, that'll give me my 5 minutes of glory and fame and all that stuff. But then the day before you do it, somebody goes into that exact same grocery store and shoots people up. You're going to be like, oh, man, they fucking stole my thunder. Now I got to do it at a different time in a different place. Like, they're not going to go back to the same place where it just happened because they know that it won't be as effective, right? So I think what you're not taking into consideration is the fact that everybody knows that was the last place where a mass shooting happened. And so not only is it just like sheer probability of like light, if it was as random as a lightning strike, like an inanimate object or an inanimate event happening in the same place at the same, same place the next day or whatever. But now you get the human element where they're making decisions based on information, right? So I would venture to say that after a mass shooting happens, that the probability actually goes down that somebody will do it again, because there's an actual active shooter out there somewhere in the future who's making a decision where and when he's going to strike. And he doesn't want to go to the same place that just got hit. So take that, Sned. How do you like them apples? Sned. If you don't like them apples, why don't you jump on a flight out to America and you and I will have a fist fight on camera. They'll finally get to see my and your face together in one video. I'm just messing around. I think Sned would probably kick my ass. Actually, those Brits, man, they sound really, really nice and soothing and everything, but they'd probably know how to fight.